Hey guys, and welcome to Narcissu? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it's a free game on Steam, so I decided to play it, so let's go. Alright, select title. Alright, so Narcissu. Oh. What? Isn't there in English? Is that English? I don't know. I'm just gonna go with that. Voiced? I don't know. I think I maybe chose wrong. Oh, okay. Alright. 2001, 31,042 people. Oh, this game is gonna bring the feels, isn't it? Oh, true, I wasn't very healthy ever since I was a child. Even so, I attended elementary school like all the others, and during summer breaks, I often played until I was early tanned. June, shortly after my entry into middle school, the day after I ordered my swimsuit for use the next month. I realized that the translation is probably really bad. My first hospitalization. On a day just before the first semester midterms. On a day where the first drops of rain were so cruelly cold. Falling from amidst the pure white of the overcast sky. Of course, the first time it happened, all of my classmates came to visit me almost every day. And when I was released, they even came to my house and played on weekends to play. But that was only the first time around. Autumn into winter, winter into spring, a vicious cycle. Hospitalization, release, clinics, and hospitalization again. And before I knew it, even the classmates I once called friends turned into acquaintances, oh god, and then into strangers. As if with every changing of seasons, I was being erased from their collective memory. It seems that to all of those normal people, my very existence was an unpleasant fact. And so it looks like I've been erased. I'd spent so many seasons, so many white, overcast skies, without the want or need to converse with anybody. For that matter, my English textbook never changed from that of the first year middle school student before the first midterms. That is where my time seems to come to an end. Oh. So is this just a graphic novel? 8 years later, early summer 2004, protagonist. Summer flowing sweat. A gigantic electronic scoreboard in the driver's license examination facility. A light up all at once, my eyes and everybody else looked for respective numbers. 237, 237. And of some eight columns of lit text. Sure enough, my examination number was shining in the midst. A nearly empty train car, perhaps thanks to the beautiful afternoon. Almost alone on the train car, I was heading back from the examination hall. My left hand held a new traffic regulations handbook, and my breast pocket held my brand new driver's license. So now I've got my license as well. I muttered somewhat happily, but there was no strong feeling behind it. I never particularly wanted to drive a car. I know the feeling. I never particularly had any motive for it. It was just that my colleagues in the technical institute both recommended that I at least get a driver's license. That night, when I told my parents that I'd gotten my license, they merely replied with an "I see." And when I asked if I could borrow the car, just for a test run, they instantly and curtly just said one thing: no. While I didn't really want to drive the car or anything, the response was all too expected. Those were my parents for you. The next day, I woke with chest pain and went to the hospital. Sickness and I generally had nothing to do with each other, which is why I found the ER waiting room to be utterly boring. And just when I thought they were through examining me, they ordered an x-ray and some blood tests. Then they left. And again, I was left waiting for a long, long time. I had already polished off 3 volumes of Shonen Jump. I remember Shonen Jump, I love Shonen Jump. And was just about to start on the fourth when they admitted me to the hospital. Right then and there. And it seemed that my new license, which still lay snugly in my breast pocket, would have to wait a long time for its turn to come. This is so sad. Autumn 2004, protagonist. Right around when the all too noisy cicadas had finally gone silent, I once again found myself in the hospital, as per usual. Of course, it wasn't as if I'd been there the entire time. I came and went, a futile cycle. My first surgery was a month before, and then I started doing the 5-minute commute to and from the hospital, but by moped, I was about to say by moped. And from then on, I was hospitalized, discharged, ordered to clinic, and hospitalized again and again and again. While I still had no clue what PET or IRIS stood for. In no time at all, several months had already passed. As my appetite decreased, my medications increased, I could feel my physical strength atrophying away. Atrophying? I kept imagining that my legs were getting thinner. With the needle on the weight scale rudely informed me, it's not just your imagination. And yet I kept looking at myself with detached interest, as if it were happening to somebody else entirely, as if I were looking at a scene on TV or the like. My mind could not grasp what had so suddenly happened to my body. Nothing within me was telling me that this was real at all. And that's why, even though it was happening to me, I kept looking on as if it was happening to someone far away. God, this is bringing the feels, man. A day of winter around when the Christmas trees had vanished from the streets. I was discharged home as a kind of year's treat. It seemed like an exercise in total transience, but still it made me slightly happy. I traveled back to a home I had not seen in a long time, in the midst of a freezing rain. Strangely enough, my entire family was there. My parents, who had never so much as talked to me, came out to meet me, if with terribly stilted smiles. And my little sister, with whom I never had a pleasant word, had made my favorite cream stew and fried shrimp just for me. They made me sit at the table, they peeled tangerines for me, they were cruelly kind. It was an impressive display. At this point, a little thought occurred to me about my new driver's license, which was still stuffed away in my pocket. That perhaps things would end for the license without it ever having known any use, and surrounded by a trio of stilted, strained smiles. I kept the thought as if it were someone else's business, with dispassion, ambiguity, and total disinterest. January 2005. A new year began and I returned to the hospital. But on this day, instead of my usual 4F room, I ended up in the conference room of sorts. They took me there, and then my father and the doctors had a little talk. I joined in while they talked to me. So this was their so-called announcement. They said it in a terribly roundabout fashion. But they told me that I was going to die. I see. That was my only reply. I had no other words. It was the only thing that left my mouth from beginning to end. And the doctor's ballpoint pen flew across paper as if in response to my words. Those were probably hospice enrollment procedures, businesslike to the last. My father was the same. So that it's this simple. It was the only real thought I had. The day I was transferred from 4F to 7F, from a 6-person room to a private room. It was a little different from the other wards. This 7F, god damn it. First of all, the floors were sparkling clean, and second of all, the ceiling was higher than I'd ever seen it. The rooms were very nice, and had large windows from which the warm daylight streamed in as if by design. But the windows were opened a little. I tested them out, and my head just barely fit out of one. The color of my ID bracelet had changed as well. The bracelet that I had worn ever since my first hospitalization. The one that had my name and blood time reported on it. Its color had now changed from blue to white. A high ceiling, a white vinyl bracelet, a window that would not open more than 15 centimeters. The TV's program celebrating the new year were still playing when I transferred to this 7F, goddammit. And it was at the dawn of that very year that I first met her for the first time. Met who?
Narcissu. You.
Alright, well I think that's it for this episode. I will pick up immediately. Hey guys, and welcome back to